San Francisco 49ers just lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 22-25 in overtime in the Super Bowl. This was a tough game to watch down the stretch if you are a San Francisco 49ers fan. In overtime, they went to take 3 instead of going for it, and it cost them. Patrick Mahomes went straight down the field. It was a fake play to Travis Kelce. They go straight to McCole Hardman, ends their run. Kyle Shanahan's Super Bowl record so far has not been good. When he was the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, he blew a 25-point lead with Dan Quinn. I'm going to put it all on him with Dan Quinn in Super Bowl 51. In Super Bowl 54, they had a 10-point lead against the Kansas City Chiefs, a different Kansas City Chiefs team. They blew that lead. They lost that game, and they also just lost this game as well when they were up by 10 points. You can come out and say that Kyle Shanahan should have called some better plays. I just wish that he was more aggressive in this game. I wish that they would have went for it in overtime instead of giving the Kansas City Chiefs that opportunity going down there and score that touchdown. Steve Wilks has been one of the weaker defensive coordinators with this team in the last couple of years. You had Robert Saleh, who was a very good defensive coordinator with this team. You had DeMeco Ryans, who was amazing. Steve Wilks is not a horrible hit. Is not a horrible coach. I'm not saying that he's a horrible defensive coordinator. He just doesn't bring that same intensity and that same consistency with this defense, because you look at what this defense was going through early in the season. It didn't look particularly well. They went out, they traded for Chase Young, and Steve Wilks stepped down from the booth, and then the defense started to play better. But the defense did not look as good at it as it had looked in the past with guys like Robert Saleh and DeMeco Ryans. And a part of the reason why Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles rushing on the field. One of the most freak accident plays I have ever seen. He was just jogging, getting ready to sprint on the field. The next thing you know, he gets off the sideline. He immediately collapsed, tears his Achilles, and he's in a walking boot as they're showing the footage from the San Francisco 49ers locker room. This was a tough game overall for this team to lose, because they did come out and they did play a very good game. As a whole, Brock Purdy played very good. I don't want to hear all this stuff. He's not elite. He's a system quarterback. Those are just haters. That's what I say. Because everyone that want to type and become keyboard warriors and guys like Cam Newton, all those guys are hating on Brock Purdy. Besides Christian McCaffrey, in today's game, who was the most consistent offensive player besides Brock Purdy? Because Trent Williams had times to where he didn't look good on the field with those holding penalties. The offensive line did not look good down the stretch of Brock Purdy, and he's still making crazy plays. He made a crazy throw to Kyle Juszczyk. A system quarterback wouldn't do that. This kid is an elite talent, and no one wants to admit that because he was the last pick in the NFL draft. And a lot of these scouts and a lot of guys in the media are pissed off because the quarterbacks that they had as first round picks are busts in the league, and Brock Purdy looks better than them. That's the truth with what's going on with him and his story right now, to just be completely honest with you. So if you say that he's the reason why they lost this game, that's not true. You can go argue with yourself in the cave on that fact, because I know Cam Newton is all happy right now. It's the same way when he got bounced out by the Denver Broncos, so he can keep that to himself with all those dumb comments. I understand what he was saying. Brandon Ayuk is a better player. Is he really? Brandon Ayuk in this game had 3 catches for 49 yards. That was pretty much it. He was getting locked up on the line of scrimmage with Deebo Samuel, who had 3 catches for 33 yards. George Kittle, that's the same guy that he was saying, oh, he's so much better than Brock Purdy. These guys are not on the same level until Brock Purdy came on the field. So I don't understand what's going on here. He has elevated these guys. You look at George Kittle with Jimmy Garoppolo and with Brock Purdy, it's night and day. And in this game, George Kittle did deal with a shoulder injury. He had 2 catches for 4 yards. So if you're saying that Brock Purdy is the system quarterback and he's part of the reason why they can't get over the hump, hey, so be it. But you have a head coach that has blown leads consistently in the Super Bowl. And that's a proven fact. And you have a guy in Brock Purdy in this game was 23 of 38, 255 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 0 interceptions. It's not Brock Purdy's fault that they blocked an extra point in this game. It's not Brock Purdy's fault that it was a crazy play on a punt return in this game. Ray McCloud's trying to get the ball because it hits the back of the teammate's leg, and it led to the Kansas City Chiefs scoring. That's not on Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was making some very good throws in this game. Did he miss some throws? Yes. Was it a clean game? Was it a complete clean game for Brock Purdy? No, it wasn't. But it wasn't the same with Patrick Mahomes as well. He threw an interception in this game. But the offensive line got progressively worse every single quarter with Brock Purdy. So what I'm saying is this. My whole genesis is this. Brock Purdy is a very good quarterback, and he's going to be very good with the San Francisco 49ers for years to come. whether people like it or not. And he is better than all of the quarterbacks almost that he was drafted with in his draft class. So Mr. Irrelevant is very relevant right now. He made a Super Bowl appearance in his second straight year. And his rookie season, when he was thrown into the fire, he went to the NFC Championship, and they would have beat the Philadelphia Eagles if he did not hurt his elbow in that game. Give the kid more credit, because I can already see it right now. People are going to say that Brock Purdy's not good enough. Well, he is. He's good enough to get you to a Super Bowl, and I think that he's good enough to help you win a Super Bowl as well if the defense can play better. Nick Bosa played a very good game in this game. The same with Eric Armstead and pretty much the entire defensive line. They were getting to Patrick Mahomes. That's one thing that the Baltimore Ravens weren't able to do, and one thing that the Miami Dolphins weren't able to do. They consistently got to Patrick Mahomes. But as the game went on and it progressively went on, the secondary didn't look as good with this team. And part of that is because Dre Greenlaw was out dealing with that Achilles injury. I fully understand that, but they couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes in the rushing attack. He had those 9 attempts that went for 66 yards. It was a situational awareness that hurt the San Francisco 49ers defense. I'm not going to come on here and say that they should fire Steve Wilks, but why are you playing soft zone coverage late in the game? Travis Kelce had some big plays late in the game when early on, after the first half, he only had 1 catch that went for 1 yard. You went away from that. Instead, you went from playing that man coverage and you went straight into zone coverage to where Patrick Mahomes eats that up. Then you went into 0 blitzes to where he's dumping the football off to the running back. They did not have a counterattack for the adjustments that Andy Reid made. Steve Wilks got outcoached in this game. That's what happened down the stretch. He got outcoached. And I think the San Francisco 49ers are good enough to get to that next level, but you look at the team that they have. You brought in Javon Hargrave, who was a very good defensive tackle with this team. You paid Nick Bosa, one of the top pass rushers in the NFL. You traded for Chase Young, who was very solid with this team. You've done everything that you can do to load this team up, and it seems like it's not good enough. It's either injuries or something just doesn't go right with this team. But something has to change with the San Francisco 49ers. I understand in the past with Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo was not good enough. I really do understand that, and I can rock with that, and I can agree with that, because Jimmy Garoppolo had an interception in that game a couple years ago when they played in the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Brock Purdy played a clean game. It was just a lot of crazy things that happened in this game against the San Francisco 49ers. I do feel bad for this team because it's going to be hard to get here next season. It's going to be very hard because you look at the NFC, even though on paper the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in the NFC, you do have some guys that are coming after you. You have the Philadelphia Eagles. You have teams like the Dallas Cowboys, which the San Francisco 49ers have handled them in the past, but every single year is a brand new year. They have to keep that intensity and they have to keep things up. They need to patch up this offensive line. The offensive line has to be better with this team. Trent Williams is phenomenal. You need to get another tackle. You need to get you another guard as well to help out Brock Purdy, because we have seen it. When you give him times in the pocket, when you give him enough time in the pocket, he can make lasers across the field. He can dot guys up. But this was a very good season for Brock Purdy. In my opinion, the kid is a top quarterback in the NFL, and Kyle Shanahan has not had this much consistent success since Brock Purdy has stepped on the field with him and since he's become a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, he went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, but he did not have these many good moments with Jimmy Garoppolo. In just his second year, this kid got this team to a Super Bowl, and I was really rooting for him. I'm not going to lie to you. I really wanted to see the great story fill out. The guy that was the last pick in the NFL draft, he goes to the team, he takes over, and he wins a Super Bowl. But unfortunately, this isn't Hollywood. That's not how it works. But I do think that this team can get to the Super Bowl next season. Just had to figure some things out. Christian McCaffrey did have a strong outing in this game. Besides Brock Purdy, he was the most consistent player with this team on the offensive end. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers? And I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think Brock Purdy is elite, or do you think that he's a system quarterback? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, we want each and every last one, guys, stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.